Hi friends, this is Jessin from EdulogiX, where we teach you logic behind things. Welcome to my channel where I try to give you well-researched, useful content that will help you start your nursing career abroad. In our today's video, I'm going to talk about a very important topic related to your Australian nursing registration, which is work experience requirement or recency of practice requirement. This is a very common question asked by international nurses that how do we meet the recency of practice standard? What kind of work experience is accepted by Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency? And what if I do not have any kind of work experience? Then what are my options? So in our today's video, I'm going to answer all these questions. So stay till the end and I will help you decode everything about work experience today. Before I talk about the work experience requirements, you should be familiar with few terms. The first term is recency of practice. NMBA or Nursing Midwifery Board of Australia has a standard called recency of practice standard, which basically means that nurses and midwives who are practicing in Australia or who intend to practice in Australia should be current and up to date in their practice. Now the second term is practice. Now, as per NMBA, practice is not limited to just clinical practice. You might be working in an education sector, as an academician, as a nursing researcher. So in any kind of nursing related field, if you're working, after your registration, that clinical practice or non-clinical practice is accepted. Now, many of you have asked me that if I'm working in an aged care facility as a carer or a disability support worker, does that experience help me in my recency of practice? So my answer is no. As I said, you should be working in the nursing, specific nursing field. As you can be in your clinical practice or non-clinical practice or community health, but it need to be in the nursing profession. So now we move to how many hours of work experience you require to meet the recency of practice standard. So you need to have 450 hours of work experience in the last 5 years at the time of your registration. Okay. So let's say you are a nurse in Philippines and your weekly hours of work is around 40 hours of work. So in a month, you will be doing approximately 160 hours of work. So roughly you need 3.5 months of experience to meet the recency of practice standard. So important thing to remember, you do not need any kind of work experience to start your registration procedure with AHPRA under the new OBA assessment. You only need to submit it at the end after you have completed your OSCE. So the next question is, what kind of evidence can you submit to meet the recency of practice standard? So you can submit your income statements for the year or your pay slips or as simple as a statement of service from your employer to meet this standard. Also, I would like to tell you that the hours of experience, that 450 hours of experience need not be continuous. Okay. So if you have any kind of gap in your practice in the last 5 years, it doesn't matter as long as the cumulative hours is 450 hours of work experience. Also, many of you have asked me that is my clinical placement hours that I did during my bachelor's in science of nursing or diploma of nursing is counted in my work experience. So no. Clinical placement hours is a component of your training and hence your experience after you have attained your registration is what is counted. So now let's tackle the elephant in the room. What to do if I do not have the work experience or I haven't been practicing the last 5 years? Then how can I meet the recency of practice standard? So for this, AHPRA has suggested few ways that you can follow to meet this standard. So the first way is by successfully completing a program approved by NMBA. So which basically means that if you have done any kind of qualification such as a graduate certificate in nursing, graduate diploma in nursing, etc. So you have upgraded your qualification and you're back in your practice, which help you to meet the recency of practice standard. So the second way that AHPRA says is that if you have successfully completed an assessment conducted by NMBA. Now this is the fantastic news for those who have started their OBA procedure or thinking about to join it but do not have work experience. Let me decode it for you. By successfully completing an assessment conducted by NMBA. Now think about the OBA procedure. What is the OBA procedure? It basically has two assessments, NCLEX and OSCE assessments that are controlled and regulated by NMBA and AHPRA, which basically means that if you have successfully passed both these assessments, you are eligible to meet the recency of practice standard. So if you do not meet the recency of practice standard right now, you haven't been practicing, or you lack some kind of experience, do not worry, start your OBA procedure, and if you're able to pass it, you should be good. Apart from this, you also need to meet the other standards such as English language test standard or English language requirement. So if you do not know about this, I will leave the link of my video related to this in the I button here. So I hope I answered all your questions about your work experience requirement or recency of practice standard, and I'm sure you got some value from this video. If you did, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Also, for more information about the nursing registration procedure and updates, you can visit my website, and I'll leave the link of the description box below. Additionally, I will also leave the link of the recency of practice standard in the description box below so that you can download it and have a look at it. Until next time, stay safe and stay happy.